14th, 2012, tragedy struck Sandy Hook Elementary School in Newtown, Connecticut.
The shooting at an elementary school in Newtown, Connecticut, the Sandy Hook Elementary School, in which 27 people were killed, 20 of them children.
It's believed at this hour, and it's been confirmed to ABC News by state police there in Connecticut, that 2 shooters were initially believed involved in the mass shooting.
I know there's not a parent in America who doesn't feel the same overwhelming grief that I do. The majority of those who died today were children. Beautiful little kids between the ages of 5 and 10 years old.
Through that horrific event, an amazing nonprofit was born, Dylan's Wings of Change. And today, we're going to talk to the executive director and founder of that organization, Dylan Hockley. Dylan Hockley. Oh my gosh.
Okay, let's start again.
Yeah, let's do it.
You gotta be smooth.
No, this is okay, because we want to tell the audience we made a mistake and did not record the first version of this, so you're getting number 2.
Did you happen to hit that record on Zoom?
I did not. Oh no.
Ian! Ian, we were doing so well. Take 2, guys.
So thank you, Ian, for being patient with us. We're still learning as we go here. But first off, that background is amazing. We love it.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Yeah, it's an original painting by a friend that we have blown up.
Wow.
And this is the logo you use for your foundation? Love it.
Wow, that's awesome.
Love it.
And secondly, out of all the guests we had so far, I believe 11 or 12, you're the first one with an English accent, which my wife loves, by the way.
I know.
So, Dylan Hockley, you're the executive director and the founder of Dylan's Wings of Change, an amazing nonprofit organization that was actually made through a horrible tragedy. So what we want to know is, how was that created, and what are your hopes for the foundation?
Well, you're spot on. My accent's from England. I grew up there, and our family moved over here in January of 2011. We moved to the wonderful village of Sandy Hook here in Connecticut, and our boys Jake and Dylan went to the elementary school. And then in December 2012, there was a shooting, and our first grader Dylan was one of the first graders that was killed. And amongst all the turmoil and the tragedy, you know, people didn't know what to do, right? This story impacted people around the world. And I think when people don't know what to do, they know that money makes things happen. So they donated. And we took the money that they donated and we created Dylan's Wings of Change. It's a small foundation, and it fosters the Wingman program, which is a youth leadership program we have in schools here in the Northeast.
So I'm not like 100% on youth leadership. What do you guys teach these children?
We really, we bring a social and emotional learning program into schools. It's all fun, activity and game based. But what's different in Wingmen is it's not the adults, it's not the staff in the school, it's the kids that lead the program. So we might come in and train 8th graders, and they'll run programming for 5th and 6th graders. Or we train juniors and seniors, and they're running programming for freshmen and sophomores.
Wow. And do they get credit for that towards college or for their education, like nonprofit service or something?
Yeah, and we give them 2 full days of training. So they go through this wonderful training program to become facilitators, and then they run the programming, and they run it right across their school.
Wow, that's great.
That's amazing. I love that.
Yeah, I wish we can get that out here and our kids can be part of that.
Uh-huh.
West Coast, California. So,
Bring it out.
so the Wings of Change. I mean, I've heard this story of how that name came about, but I would love for you to tell the viewer how Wings of Change, how that name was, the final name for this organization.
Yeah, it was an amazing chance meeting with a counselor that was sent to Sandy Hook by FEMA, the Emergency Response Agency. And we met with this counselor and we shared all about Dylan, all our happy memories of him. And Nicole shared a story that one day Dylan was flapping. He had autism. That's one of the things that made him awesome. And when he would get really excited, he would jump up and down, he'd flap his hands. And Nicole asked him one day, Dylan, why do you flap? She wasn't sure if he would even bother to answer. And he said, Mummy, I'm a beautiful butterfly. And the counselor told us that's really interesting because the butterfly is a symbol of change, right? The caterpillar goes into its chrysalis and goes through this amazing transformation and comes out the beautiful butterfly. And those words really, really stuck with us. And so we called it Dylan's Wings of Change.
Oh, wow, perfect. It's just there's only Dylan's plus the Wings of Change just completely lives on his memory forever.
Yeah.
Wow.
So we all know this pandemic has been rough on everyone. So as far as your foundation goes, what challenges came from the pandemic for you guys and how did you overcome them?
Yeah. Before the pandemic, the Wingman program was in about 50 schools here in the Northeast, New Jersey, New York, and Connecticut. And the first thing is when the schools shut, they couldn't do programming. We're not in school. We can't do programming. So we moved things online. We worked out how to do the program through Zoom. It was nowhere near as good, but at least it was something. And a few of the schools were able to stay with it. But then also we couldn't fundraise, or all of our fundraising was from races, marathons, Ragnar relays. We used to raise money from that, and all of those got cancelled as well. So we struggled with fundraising, we struggled to run programming, and it really nearly shut the foundation down. And it's really only now as I don't want to say come out of the pandemic because it's really still all around us, but in many places, we're finding a way to live with it. Schools are opening, programming starting again, races are back on, and we can finally start fundraising again.
Awesome. So a little bit about Ragnars and marathons. One of the basic questions we ask during all our interviews is, how did you start running and what kind of motivated you to start it? And so we'd like to hear that question first before we go into a little deeper about this other stuff.
Thank you. Yeah, when I moved to the US, I was with IBM, and some of the people there got me into running. I'd run in college, but nothing too competitive. And we were signed up for a half marathon in Central Park, New York City, January 2013. Well, the shooting was in December 2012, and everything fell apart, and I certainly didn't intend to do the race. But my friends got me to go, and we did the race, and I really felt this amazing community that is every single race you go to, right? Everybody's there for this amazing purpose. So we stuck with it, and we actually entered our first Ragnar relay in 2013, and that kept me going. And since then, I just did my 14th Ragnar last weekend.
Wow.
You're amazing.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
All those
crazy.
races plus this organization. Oh my gosh. And you brew your own beer from what we hear. We heard that a little earlier today. And so you're busy, but first off, kudos to those friends that pushed you, that kind of eased you, said, yeah, buddy, you've got to do this half marathon. You got to do it. So kudos to them. I hope they're still in your life.
And actually that really representative of our entire community that rallied round. You know, there were so many, there were 20 children and 6 educators killed in the Sandy Hook shooting. The community rallied round and really protected each family and lifted them up. And those people continue to do that today. In some way, that's our privilege that we have a community that can do that. I know there are so many people suffer at the hands of gun violence and lose loved ones that don't have that support, and my heart goes to them. But we took that support and that love and we turned it into the foundation and the programs.
Oh, love it.
Yeah, to keep his memory alive through this. And they're doing so many great things and spreading kindness and teaching these kids, like, you guys are amazing.
And having the kids be teachers, make them feel really involved. Oh my gosh, that's awesome. And so you mentioned your races, and you said 7 New York marathons you've done, or 2 New York marathons, 7 Ragnars, right? I haven't heard an LA marathon on that list. Is that on your? Is that one of your goals? Maybe to come out here to California, you could do the LA marathon, and we can go get some. Maybe you could meet you at the beer garden and hang out afterwards.
I think that's definitely got to be on next year's list, Anthony.
Yes, sir. 2022 signups are now available. But
Mhm.
so Magnar, that's something I've always been very interested in. We have a mutual friend, her name is T, who's on your wingman team, who's helped fundraise for you guys, I believe. She does big Wagnars a lot. And I've always thought about doing one. So kind of explain some, what exactly is a Wagnar? Because I know that there's a bunch of people in a van that go down the street and you keep rotating runners, pretty much.
Yeah. Yeah, it's up to 12 runners. Most teams have 12. My team, we do it with 6 because we just want to run some more. But there's a course mapped out, and I know they have a great one on the West Coast there between San Diego and LA. They're all over the country now.
Oh.
Some are on roads, some are on trails. And it's just about a community of people that takes turns running. And if you're not running, you're traveling in the van. So you're always together. So you're creating this, again, creating a wonderful community of people that, you know, when you spend 48 hours with a group of people, you really get to know them. You really get to know what they like, what they don't like. But it's an incredibly intense and emotional experience. And I recommend everybody does it with friends. Some people do them with strangers. That's being brave, but they do that. And you make lifelong friends. And if you're friends, those friendships become so much deeper. I think sometimes it's not about the running, right? The running is something that happens to one person on the road, and the rest of the people in the van are having their own experience, and the runner swaps in and out. It's a beautiful dynamic.
Yeah, I think I would be like, as a runner, I'd be like, okay, I'm doing my 10 miles an hour. What am I missing in the van right now? And like the smells. I mean, they gotta be, I don't care about smells. I think I got a big schnoz here, but I think it doesn't work very well. She has a good sniffer on her.
I
So
don't
I don't think she would survive it. But I think I would be okay, and I think I want to take part in it one day. I think I might join your team, one of your teams one day.
Absolutely, that'd be great. T will hook you up. We're planning on venturing out because we've tended to do them just in the Northeast. But I promised T we're going to get together down in Kentucky next year and do the bourbon chase.
Oh, the bourbon chase. I could. All right. So, with that said, how can people support your life-changing cause, and where can they find you, Ian?
Absolutely. The website is dylanswingsofchange.org, all one word straight through. It's got like the contact us. They can see all about the programs. If they want to get in on one of our races or run for us, send us a message. Of course, there's a donate button. All the donations mean that we can give programs for schools that can't afford to pay. But certainly we just love to hear from people. We love to hear from people, hear their story, and get involved in any way they can.
Love it. Love it.
Do you have any other social media aside from the website?
We've got Facebook. It's probably not as well attended as it should be because we're small. We can't pay people to do that job, but when we can, we share about the program. So I think that's under Dylan Hockley's Wings of Change. Okay. That's how you'll find us on Facebook, and we'll post on Instagram from time to time. But usually we're just out too busy running to actually get any social media done.
Yeah, you got to weigh out what's more in need right now. But it sounds like I went to your social media. You're not doing too bad, so don't worry about that.
You're doing all right. Yeah, and I love the interaction, and I am so thankful that you do what you do. You know, yes, it is terrible how it came about, and I empath here. It does make me sad for your son, but through all of this, he keeps living, and you guys are amazing. So thank you for everything you do.
Thank you. You're very kind. We do keep his memory close to the program. And you're right. You have to look for the good. You have to look for the positive. Otherwise, all you're left is just, it's dark and empty. So that's what we always strive to do.
Well said.
We are always in support.
Yeah. Because we have 3 kids ourselves, and we can't, if anything happened to any of them, all you think about is, I'm going to just lay under the covers for the next 20 years.
Oh, yeah.
And for you to take this on like this is so much strength, and it's helping so many people. So if anybody wants to see a video of Dylan, I found a great one on YouTube. It's on your website. Is the one with the songs of Over the Rainbow. Oh my gosh. If you want to touch your heartstrings, watch that video. What a beautiful boy he was.
Thank you. That was created for his celebration of life service by a friend, and he just took home videos, and knitted them together with that beautiful soundtrack. I watch it often myself.
Wow. Well, we're going to link that in the description below or right up here, wherever it is. We're going to link it up here so people can click on it. But thank you for hanging out with us, Ian.
Thank you for sharing.
And thank you for allowing us to share your story. It's an honor.
I'm very grateful to you both. Thank you. Keep doing what you're doing too.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Part of me's like, why am I smiling? But I think I was just smiling because I was just full of love. You know, people have said that, like, how can you be smiling? And I'm like, well, I think sometimes when there's more love in you than hate, like, it comes out. I think it comes out.